Welcome, everyone, to the Sports for Life podcast. I'm your host, Dylan. We're back with another episode. Today, we are going to be discussing a couple things that happened in the NBA today and yesterday. Kawhi Leonard from the Los Angeles Clippers will be headed back to the Toronto Raptors. As you can see, I have my Raptors hat on here to show support for our team, our hometown team in Toronto. I'm going to discuss that deal. I'm going to discuss how it affects both teams. I'm going to discuss the trade pieces that went down. Also, I'm going to touch base on the Miami Heat. As we discussed in the last video, their trade bringing Giannis Antetokounmpo in from the Milwaukee Bucks, coming to the Miami Heat, and how I discussed a little bit about the a little bit about the pieces on that team and how they are kind of molding that team already and getting the process started. At the same time, I will be going over LeBron James and what's going on with him, because as far as I know, LeBron James is not returning to the Los Angeles Lakers this coming season. So there's a few things I wanted to discuss and go over. We're going to get started shortly. I just wanted to give a shout out to my friend Nate. It's his birthday today. Happy birthday, Nate. Wishing you all the best, brother. Hope you have a blessed birthday, and I hope it's going to be a memorable one for you. That's from me and my fiance. So let's get started on the podcast. Let's go over the Kawhi Leonard situation first. So as you guys can see, Kawhi Leonard here is being acquired from the Clippers in exchange for Brandon Ingram, 2 first-round picks, and 1 pick swap. So basically, and also Gradey Dick. So he's a player who is on the Raptors. He was drafted I think 2 or 3 years ago, maybe. And he's a guard. He started off playing really well and didn't really finish his last few seasons playing well. I think he was benched last season a lot of the time. So Kawhi Leonard for Brandon Ingram, Gradey Dick, 2 first-round picks, 1 pick swap, and 2 second-rounders. So the 2 first-round picks are unprotected in 2031 and 2033, with the first-round pick swap in 2027. The Raptors will send second-round picks to the Clippers in 2030 and 2033. So 2033, we're going to have no picks. 2030, we will have just a first rounder. In 2031, we'll have a first rounder, no second. No, we won't have a first rounder in 2031, but we will have a second rounder in 2031. So, with that being said, Kawhi Leonard, for all you who don't know Kawhi Leonard, he's been in the league for many years. He's an excellent player. He's a team leader. He's an excellent defensive player. He's an excellent scorer. He's a small forward. Good build, good size, good athleticism, plays really well overall, and still playing at a high level once healthy. So that basically summarizes Kawhi Leonard. Brandon Ingram he's a good small forward. He's a good player. He's not as efficient and effective as Kawhi Leonard is. However, Brandon Ingram is a good scorer, but he disappears at times. His defense is in question. He disappears at times, and recently he's been injury prone. So that's a concern. And Gradey Dick, again, he hasn't been a great player at all at this point in his career. He's a shooter. He's known to shoot the ball. He hasn't been shooting the ball well the past couple seasons. So seeing him go, it's no hard feelings lost there. The 2 first-round picks going to the Clippers. I mean, it's 2031 and 2033, so I'm not really worried about the value of those picks because it's many years from now. Like, we're in 2026, the draft just went by. The next year's draft will be 2027. So there's still a good few years, so I think 4 years from there until those picks start popping up where they'll be traded to where they have been traded to the Los Angeles Clippers, and they can take that value in 2031 and 2033. The second round picks, as you guys know, they're not too important. It's okay. It's not a big deal. It's not the end of the world. A lot of deals are done, small deals, big deals that allow you to bring in other picks as well, and you recover basically from having those second rounders gone by easily trading a player away and acquiring a second round pick. Now, the overall value of this trade for the Raptors' sake, it's not a bad deal, because Kawhi Leonard's contract is 1 year. He has 1 year left on his contract for this coming year, and then he will be a free agent after. So, for the Raptors' sake, I've heard that he's willing to sign the extension with Toronto, and that's why they are decided on bringing him onto the team in this trade. And it seems like it's not a big risk of a move. Now it all depends on the value of those draft picks that they acquired, right? If in 2031 33 those picks end up being lottery picks or high first round picks where you're drafting within 15 or so and under, then it's not the end of the world, right? For the Raptors' sake, then it's bad. For the Clippers, it's going to be a good thing, obviously, if they're able to grab a pick that's basically within the top 15. That works. Now, if the draft is a heavy loaded draft where there's a lot of players that are valuable in the draft throughout the draft, basically in the first 2 rounds, you have a lot of competition there, good players that end up coming out of those drafts, then obviously that's a bad deal. But that's an if. And a lot of the times these picks are hit and miss, right? So more miss than hit. Sometimes you'll find a good guy in the second round. Sometimes you can draft, in the first round later and grab a good guy. It's kind of been that kind of way. If you have the top 15, doesn't mean that you're just going to get the best players and it's always going to work out. So, sometimes a first overall pick is a bust, right? So it's the luck of the draw. So again, looking at this move and where the Raptors are right now, it's a good move for the Raptors right now because they're kind of in a win now situation when you look at their team's build. What I mean by that, they got Scotty Barnes, they got RJ Barrett, who had an excellent season this past season, and also they have Emmanuel Quickly, and then they still have Jakob Poeltl, which, I mean, I would look at getting a rim protector this year. To be honest, if I was the Raptors, I wouldn't go in with Jakob Poeltl as the center, like the permanent center. I think that we need rim protection, and that's something that is important for this team, for any team. As a matter of fact, you need some shot blocking, you need some like length, you need some hustle, you need some defense of support in the paint, so stop people from taking advantage of attacking the basket. And I think that that's where the Raptors just need to put that finishing touch on this team, and then they're able to basically staff their team around it and bring in some guys off the bench who can come in and contribute. Because having a top-heavy team is good, but you need some key guys off the bench to be able to come in and provide a good punch for your team. So that's my take on the trade. If you ask about winning and losing the trade, I mean, it's kind of split. It's a split decision for me when it comes to it. Brandon Ingram wasn't available for us when we needed him in the playoffs last year. If he was healthy and he was playing, we might have won the series, but defensively, I know he was a liability. He wasn't that great. He was not too great with his ability to move around, his ability to lock in on defense. And I think that that's where, Brandon Ingram is a bit of a liability. Offensively, he's a great player. He can score. He can score with everybody in the league. He has a good offensive bag. But I think Kawhi Leonard is definitely better, even at this point in his career. He's definitely better than Brandon Ingram because on the defensive side, you get a different look from that player. And plus, Kawhi Leonard is a former champion. And he's also, led this team, the Toronto Raptors, in 2019 to the championship, and we won the championship that year. So, this is a great move for the Raptors. I think it's the move to make. I think right now, having Brandon Ingram and all the players they had, they were kind of dysfunctional as a team, and I think with Kawhi Leonard, he will bring a bit of leadership. A lot of people will tell me Scotty Barnes is the leader and he's the face of the franchise and all that stuff, and I don't believe that because he's a good player and he's a great player, but he hasn't taken that step forward. He's kind of stuck, and he's been stuck the last 2 seasons where he's been just contributing and doing his part. However, with Kawhi Leonard, he is able to bring leadership to the team. Again, once healthy, and he's able to help this team, go forward and help them try to take the next step moving forward. So, last season we did well, but I think that having Kawhi over Brandon Ingram is definitely a better move for the Toronto Raptors, even though they gave up a lot to make this deal. The fact that Kawhi Leonard is willing to sign an extension with the Raptors, and he came out and said that, is also something that is important for this trade because it allows the Raptors to have security when it comes to making sure they sign the extension and they have him locked up for a few years, and then he can play, those years out of his contract. For the Clippers, I mean, it's a great move for the Clippers. It might even be a better move for the Clippers, to be honest, because they were going nowhere, right? The Clippers weren't really in championship contention. They were not a threat in the West at all. And I think that from my experience and what I've seen, they're always in a rebuild mode, the Clippers. They're stack up with their players, but then they never really do anything, as you guys know, the Clippers. And my point of view is that with Brandon Ingram, I mean, they still get a guy who can score. They get a guy who can play at a high level if he's healthy. And they get Gradey Dick, who's a good shooter. And I think that he will play better in the system of the Clippers because there'll be a lot more leeway for him to be able to, play his style of game. And I think he just didn't fit with the system the Raptors had because of the players that the Raptors had on their team. Like there are a lot of 6'8" guys, 6'7" guys, long wingspan guys who can defend and play and move the ball up and down the floor. And they had a lot of build from 1 to 5. So basically point guard, shooting guard, small forward, power forward, and center. And they all were kind of the same length build. They could switch and rotate on defense. They can cover each other's defensive assignments and things like that. So, and I think Gradey Dick just kind of fell in between. He wasn't really he wasn't a point guard, or he was just a scorer, and defensively a liability, to be honest, to be frank. He was kind of like JJ Redick, minus his ability to consistently score like JJ Redick, but defensively huge liability. So, I mean, for the Clippers, it's they get a good player, a young guy who can come in right away and start contributing. They get Brandon Ingram, who, if healthy, he's a solid player. He can come in and, again, contribute. And then you get 2 first-round picks and a pick swap, and then 2 second-rounders. So, I mean, yeah, who won the trade? If you look at it overall, the Clippers won the trade. 100%, because they got more in return for what the situation was. Kawhi Leonard was not going to stay with the Clippers long term. He was going to, after this season was over, he refused to sign an extension with the Clippers, and he was going to become a free agent. So they were basically going to lose him after 1 year for nothing. And this coming year, they were not built or equipped as of right now to contend for a title. So having this deal go down for the Clippers and getting all that they got in return, especially those picks, which are very valuable, as trade assets or even to rebuild your team, the Clippers definitely won this trade. Kawhi Leonard is not the Kawhi Leonard of 2019. His role is going to be key for him to be load managed when it comes to his minutes, and then also be able to contribute in key moments for the team. So basically, he will be like the floor general, basically, of the team. That's where his strength is, and that's where he will be able to be effective for this Raptors team. We cannot expect Kawhi Leonard to drive this team and play like 40 minutes a game or whatever. Like, it's not going to be the case. And the Raptors have to understand that as well. You're not getting Kawhi Leonard of 2019. It's now been 7 years since then. He's 7 years older than he was. And the year after he was on the Raptors team in 2020, he got injured very badly. And since then, he hasn't really been the same guy. This past season, he was a bit better, but like health wise, but it's, I wouldn't expect to depend on, oh, hey, Kawhi Leonard's here to save our franchise again. I just don't think that, you can turn the clock back like that and get the same kind of impact, right? So that's my take. Do I think it's a win for the Raptors as well? It is. Do I think, like, which side does it benefit more? It does benefit the Clippers more. There's more upside for them because they have those draft picks. And those draft picks are potential star players, potential players that you can bring onto your team without giving up anything else. Right. And again, Kawhi Leonard was on a 1-year deal and he was on his way out after this year. So for the Clippers, they definitely won this trade when it came to overall value. However, this trade does benefit the Raptors because of their current situation and for them to be in the state they're in. So that basically summarizes that. I'm not going to go over that again, but he, if you read into the article, for example, this article, the Clippers had elected not to offer him an extension this offseason, which led to him entering the trade market. So they basically said we don't want to extend him, most likely because of his injury issues and what's been going on with the team. It's not working. However, Kawhi Leonard is coming off of his strongest individual campaigns, averaging 27.9 points across 65 regular season games. So the Clippers finished 42-40 and were eliminated in the play-in tournament. So again, the Clippers didn't do anything this year, but Kawhi Leonard played 27. He got 27.9 points a game. That's almost 30 points a game. That's very good for a guy who's at his age. But again, they're going to have to load manage him in a big way and in a smart way. I hope that Darko, the head coach for the Raptors, he does not burn him out and he does not overload him and get him injured by the end of the season. The goal for the Raptors is to be healthy by the end of the season, go into the playoffs healthy or as healthy as can be, especially Kawhi Leonard being healthy, and then you let him loose and then he has to play. And that's your best shot at winning. If they burn him out too early in the season, by mid-season, close to the end of the season, he is going to burn out. He's going to get injured. Something is going to happen to him. He's going to get fatigued or his knees are going to give trouble. Something's going to go on and it's going to mess us up again. And then we're going to be back where we started, which will then, in that case, if he does get injured or a season-ending injury or anything this offseason, and we do extend him, then we're screwed, literally, because then we don't get the value back for what we purchased, right? So we'll see. So basically, as part of this deal here, the Raptors were able to retain RJ Barrett quickly as part of the trade, as their preference was to instead include Ingram. Ingram signed a 3-year, $120 million extension in February 2025. Shortly after his trade from the New Orleans Pelicans to the Toronto Raptors, Ingram had 2 seasons remaining on the contract. So he has this season and next season. After letting Paul George leave in free agency in 2024, the Clippers now have reset their roster by trading away James Harden, Zubac, and now Leonard. So Paul George is gone. Harden is gone. Zubac is gone, who is their starting center, and now Leonard is gone. So, like I said, they're in a rebuild situation, and this helps them a lot when it comes to that rebuild because now they're accumulating more assets, right? Zubac got traded, they got assets. Harden got traded, they got assets. And then Paul George left in free agency, which is unfortunate. They didn't want it to happen to Kawhi Leonard, so what they're doing instead, they're trading him and they're getting assets. So there you go. Kawhi Leonard was open to a trade to the Raptors due to his familiarity with the front office, now led by Bobby Webster's fondness for the city of Toronto and his belief that they can contend within the Eastern Conference. I agree with that 100%. We can contend with him. This puts us in the East, at least in the top 3 or 4 teams, I would say, to win the East. Obviously, you have Boston, who is one of the top teams always. Last season, Detroit was one of the top teams. Cleveland was one of the top teams. And then you have the champs, who are the Knicks. So, yeah, we're in the top 4, I'd say, give or take. Obviously, the Knicks are the favorite to repeat based on their build, but again, we almost beat Cleveland without Brandon Ingram and Emmanuel Quickley. So, we were banged up this past season, and we almost beat the Cleveland Cavaliers to go into the next round. So, and we took them to Game 7, and we just dropped it in Game 7. So, I like the build we have. I like the direction we're going in. The coaching is good. The head office is good. So we just have to do some tweaks here, and then we'll be okay. Now, another topic I wanted to discuss, I just wanted to bring it up. So Giannis Antetokounmpo was traded to the Miami Heat. In my last video, I mentioned that Giannis Antetokounmpo being there is an asset for the Miami Heat. They look to build around him. They got to make some decisions and moves. And I believe that the Miami Heat also, if I'm correct, re-signed Wiggins. So they're looking to trade Nikola Jovic, okay? However, to get the backcourt depth, they have gone out and signed Tim Hardaway Jr. to a 1-year, $6.5 million deal. Now, this is one of the players that I mentioned where the Miami Heat bringing him in brings defense, perimeter defense, brings three-point shooting. He can get streaky, he can get hot, he can score. He can play defense. He moves the ball, he runs a lot, he's an active player. He's not just a pocket shooter. He can shoot from, mid-range three-point or whatever. He can move around a lot. He's a good team player, good chemistry with teammates, and he plays hard. So I was right about that move. I said we should bring, the Miami Heat should bring someone in like Tim Hardaway Jr. to bolster the team's three-point shooting, spreading the floor, having those guys who can knock down shots and building your team in that sense with, the defense and perimeter shooting. So that's what I was, my idea was about, that was my idea about this bringing on Tim Hardaway Jr., and they did do that, which is great. Now, they're also interested in Bradley Beal, Chris Middleton, and Gabe Vincent. So, again, they're looking at these key players who can come in and contribute. Bradley Beal and Chris Middleton can. I'm not a big fan of Bradley Beal defensively. Chris Middleton as well. Gabe Vincent is an okay player. If they can get him on a cheap deal, then yeah, you do that. But, you gotta, again, surrounded by shooters, defense, guys who are athletic, guys who can move around a lot, can score from different points on the floor, good court vision, get your team involved, not just a stand-up shooter who just shoots the ball and then on the defensive side is a liability, right? They also signed Andrew Wiggins back. And this is an important move for this team. So Andrew Wiggins and the Miami Heat have agreed to a 3-year, $64 million contract. Wiggins had $30.2 million player option. So now, as I said before, if they sign back Wiggins or they go after Wiggins, they have to sign him for less than $30 million. I said they cannot hit 25, 30 million. It's too much money. You have to be at least, 20 million or under. And they signed him for a 3-year deal worth $64 million. So if you divide that into 3 years, you got basically 20 million a season, right? Give or take 21 and a half or whatever. So that deal I take 20 mil for Wiggins. I do it definitely. He's still very young. He's still able to play really well and contribute. Again, he shot from 3. He shot 41% from 3 last season, which is great, right? He had almost 16 points and 5 rebounds and 3 assists. So in 30 minutes of play. So that's very good, right? So he was a key starter for the Heat and retained the following during their trade with Milwaukee Bucks for Giannis. So yeah. So basically that's the Heat are doing exactly as I predicted and I thought. and it's looking good on the Heat to continue to build that way. We'll keep an eye on that as well. Now, the last thing I wanted to discuss here today is the Los Angeles Lakers situation. LeBron James is not going to return to the Los Angeles Lakers. LeBron James has come out and said that he will sign elsewhere in free agency. And that is interesting. So, LeBron James has informed the Los Angeles Lakers that he will continue his NBA career next season, but has ruled out signing with the team and will play elsewhere. James has strongly linked to being joined with the Golden State Warriors, Cleveland Cavaliers, Miami Heat are also expected to pursue James, with several other teams likely to express interest. James first joined the Lakers in 2018 and led the franchise to the NBA championship in 2020. The most successful subsequent season the Lakers had with James was in 2023 when they reached the Western Conference Finals. The Lakers clearly pivoted towards Luka Doncic following their acquisition of him from the Dallas Mavericks in 2025. After the Lakers decided not to offer James a new contract in 2025, a split between the sides appeared to be inevitability. But James eventually settled in as the third option as the Lakers behind Doncic and Austin Reeves, with the new deal considered a strong possibility. So, in short, basically, what do I feel about LeBron James and the Lakers? I think that I love LeBron James as a player. I think he's a great player overall. As you guys know, he's ending his career. Like, his career is coming to an end very soon. He has a few seasons left to play on the Lakers team. Now, the concern I have is, one, LeBron James wants $50 million a year, which is max money. The Lakers should not give him $50 million. They're falling into the same trap by offering him that, where they're going to be tied with Luka, who's going to make 40-something million. Austin Reeves, they just re-signed, who's going to be making like 30 million a year. And then you have LeBron making 50 million. They're not going to be able to contend with that kind of build. Now, if LeBron comes back on a $20 million contract or 15 million or 20, whatever, that's a good deal. I'd take it. I'd do it for maybe a season or two, if so. Do I put LeBron James at like 30 plus? No. That money needs to be distributed amongst the Lakers team to bring in key players to help assist Luka. Luka is the future. Luka is the present. They need to focus on that. And I do agree with the Lakers not offering him any other extension. They probably did give him an offer and he declined it because I heard that they weren't giving him max money. They should not give LeBron James max money. Again, I like him as a player. He's a good player. He's a leader. He's very good. He's at the end of his career, and there's no point for us to waste more time as the Los Angeles Lakers by giving more money towards LeBron when they should be giving that money to key players to come in and assist Luka. We need a starting center. We need some good key players off the bench. We need to reduce our overall contracts we have. I do agree with keeping Reeves on this deal that they signed. I think they signed 4 years for Reeves. And then they have Luka and Reeves. That's fine, but we need a key center, a big, who can come in and play and contribute. A shot blocker, rim protector, a guy who can lock down the paint and play solid in the paint. I don't know if they're going to get it because we don't really have any assets to give up at this point. We do have some players on our team. We do have contracts like Rui Hachimura and other guys. I think that we need to move on from some of these guys because they're not really moving the needle for the Lakers, and they need to make some trades and to shake the team up a little bit to give them some life here. I do like the way that the Dallas Mavericks built their team with Luka. They basically put Luka. They had a lot of guys coming in and contributing on different lower contracts, and they also had their center and power forward situations sorted. Right, they were locked up. That's why they made it to the finals, because Luka's a defensive liability. He can score like any other player in the league. Like, he is lights out, but he is a huge liability when it comes to defense, and they should not invest their money into one or two players. They have to spread that money out and bring in a bunch of players who can come and contribute. It's going to be tough, but the process needs to start now. They need to start moving now on these things. The other thing I want to address is DeAndre Ayton. He is not the starting center of the Lakers. If anything, he can come off the bench and contribute for them. He has no rim protection. He has no defense, and he's a liability when it comes to that. He shows up when he wants to. He doesn't play with energy. He's very careless and reckless, and his attitude is bad. So they need to move on from him. I know they just picked up his option, $8 million for 1 year, but he needs to come off the bench. He cannot start for this team. We cannot be at that point. Otherwise, this season's going to be wasted, and the Lakers are not going to get anywhere in the Western Conference without LeBron and without key role players who can come in and assist Luka and Reeves and back them up and provide that punch from the Lakers. The Lakers have the brand of the Los Angeles Lakers as one of the best franchises in basketball. One of the most, destinations, like prized destinations to bring people to come and play, being Los Angeles, California. And they need to use that, and they need to market, and they need to bring in players. Bring in some key players, defensive players, wing players, guys who can score, athletic, play hard, bring a lot of energy. They need that. They need to make up for Luka's weakness, which is defense. So let's see what happens here. I don't know what's going to happen with the Lakers. With LeBron James, my prediction, where is he going to go? It's a good question. I think one of the hottest places mentioned here is the Golden State Warriors. Now, he doesn't have to go far, and he's always wanted to play with Steph Curry. So my bet would be Golden State, just on the fact that Steve Kerr will be back. And then they have a good build. They still have Steph Curry and these guys playing, and I think that it makes sense. It does make a lot of sense for LeBron to go to Golden State. Cleveland, it's another option. I'm not so convinced on Cleveland, because I think that it's a possibility. I'm just not too keen on it. I just don't think that that's the move to make for him. Miami Heat, interesting, but I know he had a bad fallout with the Heat, and that's why he left. There were some issues with him and Pat Riley, who's still running the Heat in the head office. So those three are very likely. They said those are the three most likely destinations for him. I think Golden State makes the best sense based on their cap situation, based on where they're at as a team. I think if they add LeBron, they can easily, bring in different people to come in and contribute, and I think that they'll be a good contending team with LeBron. So, it's going to be interesting to see. Let's see what happens. Post your comments in the comments section of the video when the video is posted, what you guys think. Where do you think LeBron's going to go? What destination do you feel he's best suited for? What's your guess on where he's going to go? What do you think about the Raptors move for Kawhi Leonard? Was it worth it? Was it not? Do you feel that the Raptors are in championship mode right now? Are they looking in that type of direction? Are they going to make more trades and decisions? And then also, for the Miami Heat's sake, minus the LeBron thing, do you think that they're building in the right way? Are they making the right decisions as of right now? What are your thoughts? Feel free to comment. I will reply to those comments and give my take, what I think as well, based on what you guys post. And again, it can be anything, right? We're just going off the top of our mind here. We don't know until decisions are made. So we will see. But yeah, for now, that's it. I just wanted to drop that video and touch base with the community, let everybody know what's been going on in the basketball world. We will bring more updates as updates do become available. Just wanted to thank everybody who's been in the video, who has liked and subscribed to the channel. We do have more videos posted under Deadshot Dylan in the YouTube app. And under that app, you can go to live and you will see the videos posted for the Sports for Life podcast. You can also click podcasts and you will get more videos as well. You can also follow the Deadshot Dylan page to see Fortnite After Hours, which is what we play every other day or so. And then also I'm running different games as well on there at the same time. Woodsy, greatest podcast on earth. I appreciate you, brother. Thank you so much. You are very welcome. Have a happy birthday. I will talk to you later for sure. And also, it's AJ Brown's birthday. Wow, what a coincidence. So you and AJ Brown have the same birthday, huh? If anybody's wondering who AJ Brown is, he is the new Patriots player for the NFL. That's our team we support, New England Patriots, and it is his birthday as well. Happy birthday, AJ Brown, as well. So for now, thank you guys for tuning into the video. We appreciate you guys tuning into the Sports for Life podcast. I'm your host, Dylan. Thank you very much. And we will see you guys on the next video. For now, take care. Bye-bye.